Okay, welcome back to the channel, and I am joined today, special guest, CEO of Alchemy Pay, John Tan, and thank you so much, John, for taking the time. How are you? How you doing?
Hi Zach, thanks for having me, and hi to everyone on the channel. I'm doing really good.
So I just want to start, like first and foremost, just kind of take me through the process of starting this company. I know that's probably a long story, but can you take us through that? Just how that all played out?
Right, okay. So the co-founders of the company mostly come from the payment space. So from the likes of G Money, PayPal, Mastercard, and all of us came together because we believe that cryptocurrencies will be something of the future. And but at the same time, we were acutely aware that this is going to take time. The adoption of cryptocurrencies, in particular in the payment space, is going to take time, and that's how we became the first project to develop and pioneer the world's first hybrid fiat and crypto payment system. So what that means is that merchants, be it online or offline, are able to use one payment solution to accept both cryptocurrencies and fiat. Fiat including like mobile wallets like Alipay, WeChat Pay, Grab Pay. The mobile wallets is something that's very popular in Asia, and as well as credit cards.
Very cool. And one of your big partnerships is Shopify. I want to just kind of ask you about that. How did that come about? And what was that day like when you inked that deal?
Um, we actually started to work together with Shopify almost a year ago, and that was through a partner. So a lot of our partnerships, our link to the merchants are not directly. We don't acquire merchants directly, and what happens is we work with payment companies, provide them with cryptocurrency acceptance as well as fiat payment channels that they do not have, and that's how we get access to merchants, right? And the reason why we do that is because we believe that that's the faster way we can get access to merchants. There are different uh, crypto payment solutions. What they do is they go, knocking door by door, not literally, but they will pitch to merchants and they try to acquire these merchants. But we think that that process can be a little bit slow. And so in the case of Shopify, it was through a partner of ours called QFPay, and so at the point in time they were only servicing Shopify merchants from a few countries, just a few selected countries. And today, this new partnership, this enhanced partnership that we are going to be having with Shopify, which will be live in Q4, will be a global partnership. So what that means is that any merchants anywhere across the world are able to work together with Alchemy to accept cryptocurrencies, and in particular, Binance Pay. And so, in order for Shopify merchant to accept Binance Pay, they have to come through Alchemy Pay.
Very interesting. So, is that the big partnership that you mentioned during the AMA with Cointelegraph, or is this something different?
Oh, this is something different. The
Okay.
the other one that I mentioned, is not yet announced, and I understand that a lot of our communities and investors, they are very eager to hear partnerships on a very regular basis. But the fact is, as I mentioned earlier, we don't target the smaller merchants. What we do is we're always targeting the really major ones. So the one I was talking about is with a conglomerate, and that partnership will allow us to target the entire Middle East region. Unfortunately, at this point in time, I cannot share too much details, but what I can say is that it will be on payments for sure. That's number one. And number two would be related to investment. So just imagine this, you are someone from the Middle East region and you want to invest in the cryptocurrencies. And this is actually a challenge that is faced by uh, investors around the world. When I first started investing into cryptocurrencies, it was complicated as heck. It's I'm not new to the investment space. I started investing before I even graduated, and I'm very used to using brokerage apps to invest in stocks, right? But when it came to cryptocurrencies, you see the different stablecoin pairs, you see fiat pairs, you just get lost, right? Can you
Right.
imagine there are a lot of people who are uh, not financially literate, but yet they want to dip their toes into cryptocurrency. So you can imagine how complicated that whole process would be. So about 70-80% of investors actually who are interested in cryptocurrencies but end up just giving up
Mm.
once they look at how cryptocurrency exchanges work. So what we are trying to do here in Middle East and subsequently across the globe would be having a platform where people can invest into cryptocurrencies without all the technical and complexities, uh, as well as helping them access DeFi. Meaning, for start, what we would do is, um, as you know, USDT lending or USDC lending, you get access of 10-12% on some platforms, right? But it's still a very complicated process. So what we do is getting their fiat onto our platform and then helping them access this DeFi lending use. And so that's one other offering that we have on our platform. But truly, unfortunately, I cannot share too much information because that may give away our competitive edge. And just one last thing to add, really, at Alchemy Pay, we are looking to drive crypto adoption and use case on the large scales on a large scale basis. So be patient with us. We have partnerships in our pipeline. It takes time to develop such solutions, especially when you're targeting an entire region. You want to ensure the system works well. And when you're working with larger companies, there's a lot of hurdles that you have to get approval from different departments and the regulators, the governments. So it will take time, but rest assured that we are working on those partnerships.
Great insight. Appreciate that. I'm sure all the investors. I took some questions from people on Twitter, and you answered a lot of them right there. So that's awesome.
That's good to know.
Yeah. So another thing I wanted to mention, and this is another really big project that you're working on, is the crypto cards. So last I heard, maybe late this year, maybe early Q1. Could you give us an update on those? And then maybe for those who haven't heard about it, just like a brief overview on what those look like.
Sure. So at Alchemy Pay, this is how we operate. We don't try to speculate where the market is going. Uh, it a lot of this is the pitfall for a lot of blockchain projects, right? They are very focused on delivering game-changing solutions, but yet it doesn't fit the market needs. So we don't try to speculate what the market needs here. So we always look at the solutions that we develop is based on educated as well as data-backed information. So for crypto link cards, we noticed that through our conversation with industry partners that there are a lot of transactions on crypto link debit cards, and that's the reason why we developed this solution. And it's not targeted at we are not intending we can, but we are not intending at this point at least to launch our own crypto link cards. This solution that we announced is more of a white label solution. So what this means is, we are leveraging our payment systems, our integration with exchanges, OTCs, as well as remittance partners to put together a white label crypto link card solution where financial institutions, blockchain projects, businesses, and developers who want to launch their own crypto link cards can come to us and we can provide these solutions to them. And what you realize is that a lot of our payment solutions are targeted at businesses. We do not target at the consumers and investors ourselves. So the platform that I mentioned earlier, the investment platform, that's direct to consumer, but a lot of our solutions are targeted at businesses.
Mm-hmm. So the white labeling, is that directly tied with Shopify? Because I know there's a lot of white labeling companies that are kind of tied into the Shopify ecosystem.
No, so for this platform, so basically we have the entire tech infrastructure to launch these cards, and at the same time we speak to players like Mastercard who will tie us up with financial institutions that has
Okay.
been sponsorship. So that is something that you need in order for you to issue a card. So we have all this in place. So when we launch this solutions, probably towards the end of the year or early next year, businesses or blockchain projects, they can come to us, they request this solution, and they can just go live and issue their own cards to their communities. And in terms of what they want to tie in with the card, be it rebates or be it other incentives within their ecosystem, they can do so, and that is something that we can build for them.
Gotcha. Okay. Awesome. A couple things related to exchanges. So the Coinbase listing, how shocking was that to you? Question number one. And then a lot of people asking about Binance. I know in the AMA with Cointelegraph, I forget the moderator's name, but he asked you about that as well. Could you speak to both of those a little bit?
Sure. Um, so I think, especially for large exchanges, this this entire listing process is something that's not visible to us. We don't have a lot of visibility when it comes to that. But as what we can do is we try to answer all these due diligence questions that the exchanges has for us, and at the same time we would provide all um, different kind of data. For instance, like whether your token is a security, then we will have to provide them with a legal opinion that we have secured to show that we are not a security token, etc. So Coinbase listing really came to us as a surprise. So we have done the due diligence process quite a while back, and I believe perhaps because they have queue system for different tokens to be listed as well. So while uh, we really answered all the questions quite a while back, this listing came out of the blue for us as well. I think that's something that I've previously shared as well. So when it comes to Binance, I think a lot of people uh, are speculating because we have a partnership with Binance, and something. So when it comes to when we speak to Binance, it's two very separate teams, right? So when I speak to the business side of the team, be it partnerships or M&A or Binance Pay related, it's with a separate team. And when it comes to listing, it's also a separate team. So it's it would be truly unwise for me to share more information uh, between my conversation with the Binance listing team and Alchemy Pay, because that would really jeopardize our chances of getting listed. We do want to get listed, and we are doing everything we can in terms of sharing information as well as answering their DD questions.
That sounds great. And I totally understand that. And so I kind of want to take this more macro. So if you look into the future a little bit, 10 years down the line, where do you
Mhm.
want Alchemy Pay to be? What's the story 10 years from now?
Right. And I would like to preface this by saying that, earlier I mentioned that we don't speculate because the market really changes rapidly. When we first launched our solutions, our crypto acceptance solutions, a lot of it was on-chain transactions, right? And what happens is that uh, a lot of crypto holders are not willing to pay with their crypto assets. It could be because of their own preference, or another reason, through our market research, is that users just simply do not want to pay for the gas fees when they're making transactions, right?
Mm,
Let's say if you pay for a cup of coffee, you don't want to pay for this kind of transaction, the gas fees,
right.
or that transactions are just slow and merchants don't want to accept it. So, you know, when we first started, we jumped in with speculating that market's gonna uh, um, use our solutions right away. Fortunately, we launched a hybrid system where merchants using our system can still accept fiat payment channels. So I would say that our vision will not change, meaning that we want to drive adoption and use cases for cryptocurrency and blockchain technology, but we will not speculate where the market will be going and then develop solutions preemptively. We always look at markets. We speak to our partners, be it within the traditional the fiat economy side, as well as investors. We would have to see where the market is heading to based on data and based on our market research before we make any decision. But as I mentioned, our vision will never change. We want to get the rest of the world on board into using cryptocurrencies and blockchain.
So speaking of particular markets, are there certain markets that you're focusing more on now and then maybe waiting to get into other markets later? Like, what does that process look like?
Right. When we enter a new market, we typically go in with a partner. This is because of regulatory issues. A lot of times it's due to regulatory issues. The other factor would be the fiat channels, right? So for instance, the partnership that I mentioned earlier was with a conglomerate in the Middle East, and this partner will allow us to penetrate into the entire region due to their business connection, due to their relationship with the government. So these are the kind of partners that we're looking for. But with that said, we can target merchants all across the globe. So what we are doing right now is this partnership that we have secured has actually granted us a license that are able to do payments businesses, brokerage services as well as remittance services. So we are able to work with merchants and businesses across the globe. But as I mentioned, we want to find a partner that can help us find to gather the reach and tap on their merchant network to expand quickly. But I would say I think in the next two months or so we should our website would have a way for us to onboard merchants from anywhere across the globe, and merchants that are using our systems are able to accept cryptocurrencies and get paid in their local fiat currencies. We are working with a remittance partner. Can't share yet at this point in time, but this partner will allow us to settle directly in fiat in their bank account in like T+1, T+2.
Very interesting. So, have you? Has there been any like big surprises throughout this whole process for you? Like, what has been the biggest? I guess maybe surprises slash hurdles, and I think you've touched on that a little bit, but just maybe go into a little bit more detail.
Do you mean on the business side or token related?
Yeah, actually both. Both would be interesting.
I think when it comes to hurdle, it's always the same thing. And in fact, I think it's very similar to a lot of blockchain projects, which is regulations.
Right.
So, and I mean, that's the reason why we are always looking for partners. We are always trying to ensure that we have either our partner has the licenses, or we would be able to acquire our own license. So, for instance, right now, our partnership in the Middle East would grant us the licenses to do payments, brokerage services, and remittance. We are applying for MSO in Hong Kong. We are considering whether we want to apply for licenses in different jurisdiction as well. But with that said, I think number one hurdles would be definitely regulations, but it's something that we do embrace. We believe that regulation is very important. I'm not just saying this because I want the regulators to hear me saying this, right? The truth is that a lot of users, consumers, right, the end users, they are very wary of cryptocurrencies, right? It's something that is very new to them. It's something that's very volatile to them. But regulations, with regulation, mature regulations in place, it gives them a lot more confidence to use these solutions, right? So this is something that really ties back to what we aim for, which is the adoption of use cases and adoption of cryptocurrency and blockchain. So we 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 actually here at Alchemy, we can't wait for regulations to be set in place, and we are always happy to speak to regulators to work with them to see how regulations could be set in such a way that it will be progressive for economies across the globe. And when it comes to tokens, it's not something that truthfully it's not something that I focus too much on, just because we believe that our tokens are simply a way for merchants to get access to our services, and for a way for us to reward uh, um, users who are using our system as well. So it is really a mechanism to get to drive the adoption of crypto and blockchain through the usage of our services.
Interesting. Speaking of the token, can you talk to us a little bit about like what goes into the tokenomics? Take us inside that space. So many people I think are interested in how that whole thing develops.
Right. Okay. So I guess I would just share a few examples. For instance, the crypto link cards. A business wants to come and use our crypto link white label solution, they would have to stake pledge, not stake, pledge ACH with us,
Okay.
right? They have to purchase ACH and pledge it with us in order for them to start using our solutions. And when they're using our solutions, they have to pay us fees. And when they pay us in ACH, they get a discount off the fees, right? And for transaction that they are generating, they get rewarded with ACH at the same time. So this is, ACH is truly for the users of our product and services within our ecosystem, and this tends to be businesses, developers, financial institutions, and conglomerates that are launching solutions together with us.
Very interesting. So I want to be respectful with your time. I know we're 20 minutes in already. Time flies. But just anything you want to let anybody know out there about Alchemy, whether they're investors or just anything I haven't asked that you want to add, I'll just give you the stage. And hopefully this is the first of many conversations. This has been a lot of fun.
Right. Sounds good. Yeah, I think I just want to reiterate that the model that we're going with, we are only working with really large players. That's the reason why we have established for a while, and that's the reason why you will see players like Binance working with us, Shopify working with us. We have a couple of names that I cannot mention, but they are just the industry leading players that are looking to work with us. We are getting.
Can we get a hint?
Um, I don't think so. We signed
Okay,
NDA, so I can't really mention, and I
that's
don't
fair.
want to jeopardize ourselves by sharing in advance. Um, so we are working with industry leading players to really find ways to drive the adoption across the globe, right? So be patient with us, and I think like there's some projects out there. Perhaps I think a lot of our investors want us to share more information and news. The truth is, we are getting business inquiries on a daily basis, right? We can work with these smaller players and continuously release a lot of smaller news. We are partnering with this project, for instance, integrating with our token. It may look good um, just on a superficial level, but in terms of the real actual adoption of the solutions, it's not significant, right? We are, and that's the reason why whenever we announce something, it's typically of significance, and we want to stay that way because our vision is really to drive the actual use cases, right? So I would like to seek patience and from our investors, and thank you everyone for the vote of confidence for investing into Alchemy, and we are really doing our best to execute. At this point in time, it's really all about execution. We have really filled up our business pipeline for the rest of the year, and we are just in execution mode right now.
John, thank you so much for joining us. And I'm so excited about the future of Alchemy. And again, hopefully we can have a conversation like this down the road.
Sure, looking forward to it.
Okay.
And thank you, Zach, so much. And thanks everyone for watching.
Awesome. So long, everybody, and I'll see you in the next video.